Once our consciousness gets established like this, it begins to develop. The body develops. As it develops, other consciousnesses start infiltrating without our realizing it. If you want to see a really clear example, look at the human body after it takes birth. Sometimes a worm 2 feet long can come out of your intestines. What does that come from, if not from a consciousness? Or how about germs? Some diseases are actually caused by little animals in your body that cause swellings and tumors. What do they come from? From consciousness, that's what. If there were no consciousness, how could there be animals? Animals arise from consciousness, and some of them you can clearly see, as they come crawling in huge numbers out of wounds, out of your ears and eyes, nose, teeth, anus, whole swarms of them. So what are they? They're a form of consciousness. This kind of consciousness you can see clearly, but there's another group of consciousnesses that are more insidious, that don't have a body you can see. Only if you meditate and gain psychic powers can you see them. That's the third kind of consciousness inhabiting your body. So altogether there are 3. Your own consciousness, and there's only one of that. And then there are all the many consciousnesses lurking in your body, so many that you can't say exactly how many there are. The ones with bodies you can see are more than many. And as for the ones with no bodies but are living in your body, there's no telling how many there are. Now if we were to go into detail on all the consciousnesses living in our bodies, there would be lots to say. Basically there are 2 kinds, those whose thoughts are in line with ours and those whose thoughts are not. For example, when we want to do good, there are hungry ghosts and spirits that would like to do good too, but they can't because they don't have a body. So they take up residence in our body in order to do good along with us. But there are other spirits who want to destroy whatever good we're trying to do. They were probably our enemies in past lives. We probably oppressed them, imprisoned them, or had them put to death. We got in the way of the good they were trying to do. So they've got some old scores to settle. They want to block the path we're trying to practice so that we don't make any progress. They come whispering into our ears, "Stop, stop. You're going to die. You're going to starve. It's going to rain too hard. The sun's too hot. It's too early, too late." They go on and on. These are the consciousnesses that come as our enemies. There are others that used to be our relatives and friends. They want to do good, but they can't. So they take up residence in our bodies so that they can bow down to the Buddha and chat along with us. Because of all this, there are times when our hearts are like monsters and ogres. We can't imagine why it's happening, and yet it's happening even though we don't want it to. Then there are other times when our hearts are like devas, so sweet and good-tempered that other people can curse our mother and grandmother and we don't get mad. Then there are other times when there's no call for anger, and yet we manage to get angry in really ugly, nasty ways. That's the way it is with these consciousnesses, all very confused and confusing, and they come seeping into our bodies. That's how you should look at things. There's yet another group of consciousnesses, those that have come to collect old karma debts. They're the germs that eat away at our flesh, at our nose, our ears, to ruin our looks. They eat away at our lower lip, exposing our teeth, making us embarrassed and ashamed. Sometimes they eat away at one of our ears, or eat away at our nose, all the way up to the forehead. Sometimes they eat at our eyes, our hands, our feet. Sometimes they eat away at our whole body, making our skin diseased. These are karma debt collectors. In the past we made life miserable for them, so this time around they're ganging up to make us squirm. The ones that are really easy to see are the worms that help eat the food in our intestines. In the past we probably ate their flesh and skin, so this time around they're going to eat ours. They eat everything. Whatever you've got, you bastard, I'm going to eat it all. That's what they say. How are we ever going to get rid of them? They eat our outsides where we can see them, so we chase them away, and they go running inside to eat in our stomach and intestines. That's when it gets really bad. We can't even see them, and they're even harder to get rid of. So they keep making us squirm as they keep eating away, eating in our intestines, eating in our stomach, eating our kidneys, our liver, our lungs, eating in our blood vessels, eating our body hairs, eating everything all over the place. They eat outside and turn into skin diseases. They eat inside as worms and germs, and they themselves get into fights. After all, there are lots of different gangs in there. Even just the worms have 108 clans. So when there's so many of them, they're bound to quarrel, creating a ruckus in our home. How can we ever hope to withstand them? Sometimes we fall in with them without realizing it. How can that happen? Because there's so many of them that we can't resist.